everybody. Welcome to Chronicle 3, Session 2. And things are about to go down. Dave and James, do you want to recap us of what's happened so far?
Well, we had the lovely opportunity to meet up with our fellow sellout comrades, fellow party players, so to speak, um,
Mhm.
which I think went as well as could be expected. Um, it was a nice little assembly. There was nice little tiefling and a whole cast of tons of characters all introduced as we got to watch one construct and one half construct beat the crap out of each other and then turn and take out the ruling party. Of which at which time one of the players jumped in the way, and I think that's where we left off of one of our characters, two of our characters in the fray getting smacked the fuck up by this giant monstrosity. Um, I think some of the
Typical
ruling party is not doing well.
typical goody two shoes move, jumping in the way.
Yeah, and speaking of which, then there's the two of us of Ryanthal and Sheldon hanging out still up with the rest of the audience,
Mhm.
nice and safe from the danger.
Correct. I'm possibly hidden. I know that.
Yeah, I think you tried to hide.
I did try.
I think that about sums up the big strokes.
All right, then. We will get going. So, just to recap the intro of this scene, as Dave and James alluded to, there was a battle between the machines, one with a human pilot, the one a true Guardian Clockwork all machine, an older model from Dire Den. The Galashank model, the human pilot one, had won the match, had actually taken the core heart piece of the Guardian and had dropped it as it had punched through its center. And almost in the exact same breath, had chucked it up at the Region 3. Kenneth tried to stop the incoming projectile with his spiritual weapon. It just barely scraped across the bottom of it, unable to stop its trajectory. And then Edmund jumped in front of the Region 3, trying to take the brunt of this assault and get the Region 3 out of the way. He was only able to protect two of them, and the third, unfortunately, caught the leg of the Guardian Clockwork across the ribs, hearing a loud crack, shattering ribs in the coughing, potentially blood slicking the front of the robes. As that was all happening, the Galashank model ran and jumped onto the wall just below the dais where Edmund is, and it was climbing up towards him in the Region 3, with just 5 more feet to go before it reaches the top. And we will begin combat. First up, Shelton. In your first round, you decided to use stealth and hide. Will you tell me first how you've hidden before you take your action?
Well, there's obvious amount of chaos and rubble and debris, correct?
Correct, yes. There's a lot of debris and around the dais at the foot of that. You saw the light from the bear that was kind of protecting the lower level shatter.
Mhm.
So seems like there's nothing to protect anyone from stray magic now or stray
So I'm kind
debris or
of
attacks.
I was kind of just going to hide behind either rubble or if the table's kind of flipped over, then hide. Um, that was the main goal,
Mhm.
and now you're saying it's we're doing now we're like in combat, correct?
We're going into combat now. The table where you're sitting did not get flipped when you were sitting at it. This light was more of just like a flash of
Like
magic
we
being
look,
destroyed. So
like we
you
look.
didn't. So Shelton, where the magic had dispersed around the barrier of that level that protects the where everyone's sitting from down below in like the arena of the Great Hall, your table that you're sitting at did not flip. It is covered by a tablecloth that goes almost to the floor, so you could hide under there. That did not get blown over. The magic just kind of flashed and dispersed. So
And this hide, am I using my action to do that, or is that prior
that
to
was
going
that
into
was
that?
prior. So you're under there
Okay.
now, and it's your turn now in the initiative tracker.
Okay. And how far away is the half construct?
The half construct from you is roughly
Is it obtainable
35,
distance?
35 feet away.
So I have 40-foot distance. Can I get to it? or is it like climbing?
Yes,
you said?
it is climbing, so it is 10 feet off the ground.
Would I be able to reach it if I wanted to go up and attack it?
You would have to jump to get him. It's not a hard DC to get up to him, but you would have to jump to get to him.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go ahead and
Let me do it this way. You could either run around where the raised platforms where you're all standing and get above them, because they're about 5 feet down from there, or you can jump down into the arena, come up behind them, and jump up to try and grab hold of them if you want to do that.
I just want to go up and stab it.
All right, you could run around, get in front where Edmund is, and get it from the front. That you'd be able to reach there without an athletic check.
Sure. I'm gonna go ahead and just run up that way and try and stab it.
Okay.
Question before I do that, since this is a new turn, technically it hasn't taken a turn in combat yet, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go out, run up and take a swing at it, and I have advantage on attack rolls against any creature that hasn't taken a turn in combat.
All right, go for it.
Cool. 20, unnatural.
That hits. Roll for damage.
Okay.
And tell me how you hit it. As it's
Okay.
climbing up to you.
Is it facing me or facing away from me?
It is looking up at you, like at the edge as you start leaning over and get ready to stab at it. So you can see it has a giant metal mass. It's like a faceplate with a bunch of slits for the face, but below the neck is unprotected. It's not like the full big carapace armor that it's wearing.
I want to just run up and kind of like jump and stab it in the back. Can I do that?
You'll have to roll athletics check for me, just because you are jumping in the air trying to jump onto it. Actually, I'll give you either athletics or acrobatics.
I'll do acrobatics.
Okay.
The 17.
That does it. You are on its back, and you
Cool.
stab at it.
All right, I'm gonna stab at it, and I hit, and it's gonna be an automatic critical hit too,
Okay.
because I have assassinate.
Just give me
So it's
the full damage amount then.
Okay.
You have 1d8 from. So you have 1d8 from Piercer, 1d8. Well, 1d8 from Piercer, 1d8 from the Rapier. So that's 4d8 right there. Then you have 4d6 from your sneak attack. So that's 8d6. So 4d8, 8d6.
Well, no, it should be only 2d8 because my rapier only deals 1d8.
Right, but you critical, so you double all of your rolls.
So
all your
double-
dice.
Sorry,
doubling
doubling
rolls
and but
or
also
double
so one
damage?
for the rapier,
You
one
double
for
the
piercer,
dice.
and then double them. Yeah.
Right. So that's 4. So 4d8 and 8d6.
Okay. I just didn't know if because some DMs do either double rolls or double damage.
I would do the 40. I would do the 48 and the 8d6.
Okay.
Yeah. That raw is you double the number of dice you roll, but like you said, every DM is different on how they do it.
And
Apologies
I
for
will
that, guys.
roll. Sorry. So
All right, so
4
real quick.
4d8s.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And then
8d6. Yep.
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm gonna go ahead and re-roll one of the damage because I have Piercer re-roll once per turn. When you hit a creature with an attack that deals piercing damage, you can
So
re-roll one of the
1d8,
attack's
okay.
damage dice. I'm gonna re-roll the 1.
Yep.
And that's gonna be a 7 instead.
So
So add
That's going to
6
make
that.
it 20. So that's 52 damage plus your dex modifier.
It should automatically put that in there, right?
Oh
Oh no, it doesn't.
No.
Yeah, it's a oh shit, it's a 4, not a 9.
Okay, so you did 56 damage.
Now is it +4 for each attack?
No, your modifier from your strength or dexterity is only figured in once.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's one of those things we learned when doing unarmed combat. Since unarmed strike doesn't involve any dice rolls, if you get a critical on an unarmed strike, unless you have like Brawler V, you don't really get any bonuses because it raw only multiplies the number of dice, not the modifiers.
Gotcha. All right.
All right.
So how much damage was it?
56.
56.
Good
Still stupid.
criminy.
Cool.
Nice shot, honestly.
And then I'm just like, I'm hanging onto its back as I'm stabbing. Well, I have it stabbed in its back.
Yeah, you have stabbed this thing so precisely, like even with all the armor on its back, you found a vital vein and just sank it in and pulled it out again, and blood is just squirting from the neck. And like the nape and neck area, you got in between where the plates meet.
Nice. That'll be it for me.
All right, Kenneth, Edmund, who's got the higher dex? Actually, no, I'm pretty sure it's Edmund, but someone correct me.
I'm going to say 99.9% that it's me.
Okay, we'll go with that. Edmund, you were next.
The one that got hit by the leg, is he breathing? As I look over, as he's right there by my feet.
You can make a perception check as your free action.
Sure. 20, dirty.
They are breathing. It is very labored, though.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. I reach down and I will lay on hands for 10 hit points back to them.
They're breathing a little better. You feel like they were kind of trembling as you reach them, and you just feel their body kind of relax, like they're still wheezing through the mask, but it's not as labored or gasping as before.
And then I will use my bonus action to grab them and Misty Step 30 feet away. Actually, hold on. Can I take someone with me? No, it's just you. So no, I don't. I lied.
Okay.
I will keep my shield up in a defensive posture and prepare for this thing to hit me.
Okay. You hear the as it's still trying to climb up, and you hear its metal shaking and grinding as it's trying to potentially throw the Archmedullus off. As we go to Kenneth.
So now, how close is this thing to Edmund and the Regents?
It is 5 feet below on the wall. Next turn, it's going to get over it, the wall. Your spiritual weapon is 20 feet behind it. Or actually like 15 feet behind it. Because you had shot it off like 20 feet from the dais to try and stop the original Guardian clockwork from hitting them.
So right, so my spiritual weapon would have been 20 feet in front of the Regents.
Yes, it has passed and gone around your spiritual weapon, is what I'm saying.
What?
So your spiritual weapon, when you cast it, was to stop the Guardian clock chains, or the Guardian, clockwork. It didn't meet the AC, so it missed. This creature, because it is 20 feet around, has gone around your weapon, like gone around it to get so it's not like passing through its space.
Right.
To get to the wall. And that's why it's on the wall climbing towards them.
So
because he wasn't at the wall before.
So it's 5 feet away from Edmund?
It's 5 feet away from Edmund on the wall climbing up. When you had your spiritual weapon out, it was to stop the Guardian clockwork, which had a trajectory towards them, which was more than like 30 feet away. So you tried to stop it 20 feet away from the Regent 3 in the air.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Then the first thing I'm going to do is, that means that it's only 15 feet
correct
away from my spiritual weapon. So we're going to attack with that first.
Okay.
16 hit.
Yes, barely misses. You scrape at its armor, it doesn't, and just parries it off just from the sheer composite density of it.
All right.
Hey, watch it. I'm hanging here.
And then we'll just go ahead and guiding bolt this thing, see if we can't hit it hard.
All right.
Yeah, we'll upcast it. 13's got to miss.
Unfortunately, you're trying not to hit Shelton at the same time, trying not to hit Edmund as it's shaking and trying to claw up the side of the wall, and it just goes wide, unfortunately.
To quote Johnny, I believe that you believe that. Anyway, how far away am I physically from the Regents?
You are 40 feet from the one that is damaged or hurt.
All right, then I will take my movement and move directly towards them on an intercept path with
Okay.
the bad guy.
Got it. So you're walking around the wall here trying to get to him. You have 30 feet of movement or more.
30.
Okay. Anything else for you, sir?
That'll do it.
All right. Ryanthal, your turn.
So, first question is, how far away am I at this point from the?
You are 35 feet from the closest one, which is the damaged Regent 3, the one that Edmund just killed.
From the monster thing, from the
Oh,
Gaussian unit.
you are 40 feet away.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Second is, what are the other onlookers doing? Yeah, so we have these other audience members who are not run by players. What are they all up to?
Okay, so make a perception check as your free action, because you're in the middle of chaos. You're trying to gauge what everyone else's reactions are. Okay, it's good enough. All right, so everyone's in shock.
Mostly looking for grand strokes. Like, is anybody else running to action? Like, of course, the player characters are all running to action. But like, what are the NPCs doing? Are they running to action, or are they just kind of standing there staring? Just broad strokes.
Most of the NPCs are in shock that this has happened. The only ones that don't seem to be like backpedaling from this experience is Orion Alt, the tiefling. They have a sword ready to go out and ready, and it looks like they're waiting for an opportune moment to do something.
Oh, of course they do.
The Noir Snow, the other representative from Galamar, has a shimmering light casting from her eyes, and there's arcane magic starting to sizzle from her hands. And surprisingly, Agna, the daughter of Igneous Barrelback, the Viceroy, seems to be concentrating really hard on Edmund.
Okay, very interesting. All right. Well, then I think, yeah, I mean, if it looks like people are ready to pop off, then I think I do need to join the fray. So 1 hot second. Let me just double check something. Yeah, it's not too bad. All right, so if you're good with it, I'm going to go ahead and cast Polymorph on myself.
Okay.
And I'm going to do that to turn into a giant ape, which is
Okay.
got some fun stats. You can look up the stats on that. Now, granted, that's my action, so I can't do much else, but he has a speed of 40, including a climbing speed of 40 feet. So basically just going to run up and get right in the face of the Galashank unit, and just walk up on it and make sure it sees me and that I'm right in front of it, and gonna roar at it a little bit.
So 2 of you are currently in front, or actually no, one of you's on its back, so you're up right next to Edmund then?
Shelton waves.
So just so I'm clear, you stayed up on the raised platform. You didn't jump down into the arena.
This would be jumping down into the arena and trying to get. So this would be trying to get as close to the Galashank unit, basically interceding myself between it and anybody else that I can. Also, it's worth note that the giant ape is a huge beast.
Got it. Okay, so you are. If you're down in the pit, you can't get like in front of it because it's on the wall, but you can definitely be as tall as it, like in its face, like on its side.
Can I climb onto the wall ahead of it?
I would have you. You have a climbing speed, right? Let's see.
I have a climbing speed of 40 feet.
Why, really, sir? Yeah, you could get up the extra 5 feet above it that it needs to clear in order to get up there.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. And just since I can't attack this turn, just intercede myself between it and where it's going as best as I can.
All right, we can definitely do that.
And then if I have anything left, I'm gonna just go ahead and wave at Sheldon.
You can wave at Sheldon. That's fine.
He's waving back. he almost lets go like he almost lets go of the rapier to like do a double hand wave, and he's like, oh, hey, catches himself a little bit.
And that is going to be it for me.
Okay, so you are currently like halfway in front of this thing. Got it. So now it is the Galashank's turn. Interesting. So you're all pretty close, except for Keeneth there. He's still a few feet back, which is fine. First off, you're gonna see some of that damage you're doing, Shelton. The blood that was pouring out of it suddenly starts to slow. Just a little bit. And some of the dents in its armor pop out. The next thing you see, as it suddenly realizes it is surrounded, it's gonna open one of its palms, hang by one arm, and you're gonna see a giant circle open up in its palm, and you're gonna hear a vroom, 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 vroom. I need everybody to make a con save, please. Except for Keeneth. He is far enough away. Shelton
24 for me.
succeeds with a 24. Okay.
And that's going to be a +4 for the aid stats.
Okay.
So 17.
Edmund and Ryanthal, you do not succeed.
Hold on, wait a minute. I have a 17, but is Ryanthal within 10 feet of me?
Ryanthal is within 10 feet of you.
Are we friendly, Ryanthal?
I would say you're not.
That's
I
a
would,
big no.
DM would say no, you're not.
I'm don't take
I mean,
away
we're
our
not
player agency.
hostile.
We're not hostile.
What
You
specifically
are-
does it say?
If he's friendly with me, to me, he's not attacking me. He's not attacking me. so I can
We are
that
currently fighting on the same side.
we have the same enemy. So the enemy of my enemy is
All
my
right,
friend.
all right.
So, I'm gonna you'll get the +3 from my aura of protection to all of your saving throws.
All right, so
That'll give you a 20 then.
That brings me up to a dirty 20. Yep.
all right, you are fine.
Thank you very much.
Edmund, you are not. So what happens is this concussive blast explodes out, and Sheldon and Ryanthal are able to like hold on and keep their bearings. But this hits you so hard, it's like someone just rattled your skull, and with whiplash, and you are now stunned until the end of your next turn.
Okay.
And
It
that's
is
just stun, no damage for succeeding the save.
It's just stunned.
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
What it's going to do next, though, is going to take a fist, that same fist, close it, and it's going to try and crack the ape across the face. So let's see here. Does a dirty 20 hit the ape?
Yes. AC for a giant ape is 12.
Fantastic. So that's going to be 23 points of damage for that. And what are the hit points on that? 157. Good criminy. All right, and then with the rest of it, it's gonna start climbing over try to get around you. So it's gonna take a bit of a detour and pull away a little bit, just to like still within 5 feet of you, but start going around you to get to the wall. And that's gonna be 10 feet of movement. It's got more climb than that, so it's gonna get over the top. It had to go around you, but it still managed to climb over and get to the top.
Does he get an opportunity strike against it?
Nope, it still stayed within range. He just had to like circle around him, so he's still within 5 feet of him.
Okay.
As a quick one, because we didn't discuss this as far as rules go, since I am the one maintaining concentration on my own polymorph, do I need to do a concentration saving throw?
Yes, please. Thank you for reminding me. You get an advantage, Sean, because of Edmund's ability. Or does it, when you're stunned, does that still go to... It does pass. Cool. Fantastic. All right, that is its turn, and we are circling back around to Shelton Bones, aka
yeah.
Archmedulus.
Question.
Answer.
Are we currently flanking the...
You
Do I get advantage because
You do
I'm
not,
on
because
it.
it's next to Edmund, and the Region 3 that's about to be in front of it is not in combat.
So it's next to Edmund.
You're not on opposite sides of him.
Okay, so there's nobody in front of him.
Correct. No one in combat is in front of him.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and take a stab at it again.
Go for it.
And that's going to be a... Ooh, that is only a 11 to hit.
Yeah, you try to get back to that same spot you had stabbed it before, but you hit the armor with a chink and miss.
Okay. So the bad guy is up on the platform where everybody else is, correct?
Yep. He's like he's parallel to Edmund, who is stunned. He's still within 5 feet of Ryanthal, so if Ryanthal wanted to reach over the edge and grab him, he probably could. He could actually. And then the spiritual weapon is now 20 feet away, and Kenneth is about 5 feet away from the hurt regent on the right side.
I just want to run away from this thing in a direction that would give me flanking on my next turn. So wherever, like the opposite side of somebody else would be.
So, okay. So you could jump off its back and either go to the left, or you could jump and try to clear Edmund.
So I'll just go to the left.
Okay.
And I have.
And you're just gonna try and run?
I'm just gonna use my movement to go left, and I have mobile, so I don't provoke opportunity attacks.
So it has the Sentinel feature. So with mobile and Sentinel, if you try to get away, Sentinel is only if
you attack. I thought Sentinel's if you attack a creature that's its friendly ally.
or if you try to get away from it. Let me see. Sentinel 5e, I'm looking at right now. When you hit a creature with opportunity attack, the creature's speed becomes 0 for the rest of the turn. Creatures provoke opportunity attacking if they take disengage act before leaving. When a creature makes an attack against a target other than you, that's that part of the feature you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So you can try, but it's still going to take the opportunity attack on you.
Yeah, I'll still try. I don't care.
Okay. Let me see. Dirty 20 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
All right. So it's going to do a fist attack for the reaction. Please take 19 points of damage.
Can I use a reaction on my turn?
What are you trying to do?
I have uncanny dodge. So whenever
Johnny, would a reaction cancel out a reaction? Or work on a reaction?
Oh, I'm
Or
sorry.
opportunity attack?
Usually, a lot of times you can do a reaction on a reaction. Like you can do a counter spell on a counter spell.
Yeah, right, I'll allow it. Go for it.
You can use the reaction at any point.
Then I take I take 19 points of damage because technically bludgeoning does double to me. So it's just 19 damage.
Okay.
All right. And I'm just gonna move about 20 feet away from it.
You don't get to because it hits you.
Yeah, I don't get to. Okay.
So you are right next to it still.
So mobile.
It has Sentinel.
Doesn't matter. Mobile trumps Sentinel.
How?
Raw.
The description for mobile was when you make a melee attack against a creature, you don't provoke opportunity attacks from that creature for the rest of the turn.
Right. And for Sentinel, creatures provoke opportunity attacks from you even if they try the disengage action before you reach. He's not using the disengage action. He just doesn't get attacked because of his nimbly bimbly mobility stuff.
Got it. So does he still take the 19 then?
No, because you never get that attack off on him.
Never mind then. I'm so sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I hadn't seen it before, so I looked it up, and there's just a whole bunch of rulings on it. So, yeah, because mobile doesn't require him to use the disengage ability. Where if he uses bonus action to disengage, then you can make your Sentinel attack on him.
Okay. So Shelton Bones will take back that 19 points of damage. You are scot-free, my sir.
Hey.
And you move 30 feet away.
All right. I will move. I just want to move 20 feet away.
20 feet away. All right.
And that will be the end of my turn.
All right. Edmund, you are stunned. So, unfortunately, your turn comes and goes. And then you are unstunned after this.
Okay.
When you come unstunned, it is right next to you on the dais.
Ah.
All right. Keenan, your turn.
So, how close? So Shelton just moved away. We've got the big bad guy, and then and Edmund is right there as well.
Correct.
Also,
right next
is Ryanthal as well? Or Ryan there?
Ryanthal, yeah. So Ryanthal's still on the wall, but he's so large that he can actually reach up and still hit the Galashank unit, but from just behind the wall. So he's right next to it within 5 feet, but he's on the wall itself.
All right. And how does this thing look? Is it hurting or is it still fine? Really?
It's hurting, not as badly as it could be, especially since the profuse bleeding from when Shelton attacked it has slowed.
All right. Then we are going to attack again with the spiritual weapon. Nope.
Unfortunately.
Missed with a 14. It was a 13, and then it rolled over. I was like, that's fantastic.
Yep, unfortunately, it doesn't quite hit.
And I am going to try... I'm going to try and cast Banishment on it.
Oh, okay. Can you post banish it for me and roll 20?
Of course.
Thank you. Alright. Concentrate up to 1 minute. You attempt to send one creature that you can see within another plane of existence. The target must receive a charisma saving throw or be banished. If the target is named to the plane of existence you're on, you banish the target to a harmless plane. While the target is incapacitated, the target remains there until the spell ends, at which point the target reappears in a space it left or the nearest unoccupied space. Okay. So you cast that at level 4?
I do.
Alright. As you go to try to banish it, one of the canisters on its back glows really bright and all of a sudden shoots into its body, and you feel a spell attack your spell, trying to ward it off. And we're going to see if it succeeds. It does by 1 point. So you see your magic of banishment trying to corral and get the Galashank wand away from this world, and unfortunately just couldn't quite get a hold of him, and it shatters. As it uses up another one of its abilities.
Okay.
And there are 3 of those canisters left.
That's the end of my turn.
Okay. Ryanthal. My furry friend, your turn.
Yes. How high up are we?
You are 10 feet off the ground. You're also a giant creature. So the wall itself is 15 feet. We're kind of above it. So you're 15 feet off the ground, hanging on the edge of the wall.
Okay, so it's not like a super tall ledge. So like grabbing this thing and jumping off the ledge would not necessarily do a lot of damage.
No.
One second. Yeah, I think instead of trying to fight it, I think I'm gonna go ahead and I think we're gonna try to grapple it.
Okay. So I need to do something really quick. No, you're fine. You're fine. Just keep going.
No, it's fine. So it's a 1 plus 6. My strength modifier is 6. So it's not a good grapple.
It's okay. You need to beat a dirty 20.
Oh yeah, nope. So my attempt to grapple is unsuccessful, it looks like, and unfortunately that's my action. I don't have any bonus actions or any other fun things I can do. Yeah, I probably should try to just punch it. Well, anyway, sorry. That's.
Are you gonna stay where you are, or are you gonna try and climb up, or?
I'm at a position right now where if the Galashank unit moves forward, I'm going to get an opportunity attack on it, right?
Yes.
Cool. Then I will stay where I'm at and hope to. It wouldn't be an option to try to shield the Regent 3 with my giant ape body, would it?
You're just a little. Not from where you're standing, no.
If I was to move around to the other side?
Yes, you could actually try and block it. That would give him partial cover. So it's on the left side, to the left of Edmund. The most hurt regent is to the right, the far right. It is climbing up and is basically having a stare down with the most left regent. It's not quite at them yet, but it is right there. It's getting close.
Okay. Yeah, I think I will try to interpose my big giant ape body between whichever of the Regent 3 looks the most in danger and the Galashank unit in order to try to give them some level of cover from the thing.
Okay. So you will go and try to get in front of it for the left one. You will swing the way you're gonna have to do this is you're gonna have to swing around basically come around it on the left side to get try to force your way in between them, because otherwise you bowl over Edmund. And there's
Okay.
not enough space between him and the region behind to do that. So, cool.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That'll be it for me.
All right. Now it is its turn. Less blood is visible pouring out of its neck. More dents start to pop back out. And then it sees you get in front of its targets and is going to take a multi-attack against you. So it's going to do 2 fist punches to your gut. Does a 16 hit?
Sure does.
Okay. All right, take 12 points of damage. 26 to hit. God, these are shitty. Take 8 points of damage on that second one.
Okay. Would that be 1 spell concentration save or 2?
Let's do, so it's per attack. You have to do a concentration spell, or is it per action?
That's my question on how you want to do it.
I will do per action, so just do 1 con save.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Yep,
Thanks,
made
I
it.
assume.
Yep.
Okay.
It's quick recap. So spell save, concentration saving on your spells is going to be minimum DC 10 or half the damage taken, whichever is greater.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. Now that it's gone, top of the round, some things happen with the NPCs. So first off, the regents are the 2 that are still able to move are going to try to climb over the back of their chairs. Now that both you and Edmund are kind of blocking the Galashing's path, it's not going to get an opportunity attack on them. So they're going to climb around the back of their chairs and try to escape out the back. One of the Zollern servants rushes up to Agna, and throws the Shalfer, which you realize she's in a wheelchair. And her and the assistant that is there with her go to pick her up and are going to try and get her out of the way. The Viceroy is right on their heels, and the other Zollern servant that's up on the dais is going to look to Shelton and is going to run up to you, cast guidance as she sees you're backing up, hopefully trying to do something. You're the only one she can get to at the time. And then
and doing the most amount of damage. What?
that too. They saw how you finessed that. The Noir Snow is still preparing a type of magic. It's taken her a while to get it going from the nerves, you assume. The Rakesh is guided out by one of the other Zollern servants to a door to get out. Orion is trying to come up on the left side to assist if they can, but it's going to take them a second to get over there. And the third regent is still on the ground, unable to move due to their wounds, and no one can get to them this turn. And we come back to Shelton.
Okay, and what does guidance do?
Gives you a D4
To attack with or hit with?
to attack with.
Okay. And I'm just gonna run up and try and stab it in the same spot again.
All right.
And that is going to be a 22 to hit. Sorry?
Yep, that hit. No, I was just checking something. That hits. Go for damage.
Awesome. That is going to be... Why did it send 2 rolls? Hold on.
No worries. So it does. One's like your what is it, your max damage versus your.
Well, one's the sneak attack damage, the other one's just the piercing damage, and then the total.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna re-roll with my re-roll damage. And I'm gonna re-roll the 3.
Okay.
Oh, no. That's even worse. So it now changes to a 1.
It's a 1 point of damage. Okay.
Yep, and I get the sneak attack because he has enemies within 5 feet of him.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna like stab it and then I'm gonna run back away 20 feet again.
Okay. So what's the sneak attack damage? Oh, is it the 16 there?
Yeah, it's the 16.
Cool, thank you. It's looking almost as hard as the first time you stabbed it.
Oh, good. That'll be it for me.
Okay. Edmund.
Can I get to flanking this guy with anyone?
You could get... I'm trying to see here. So since Shelton backed off on the opposite side, he's no longer there to do flanking. Ryanthal is in front of the Regents, trying to protect him there. This thing is close to the edge. You could get behind it. It's a tight squeeze, but you could.
Okay. Because it's hitting Ryanthal, so...
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then
you're just behind it, so yeah.
Then I'm going to move around and I'm going to flank it.
Okay.
I will use my bonus action to cast one of these smites. No, I don't want to do psychic. Searing seems good.
Okay.
So I'll do Searing Smite at level 2. And I will see the small wound from the attacks of Shelton there. And I will pull my rapier and try and re-pierce exactly where it is.
Okay, and I need to make a con save, it looks like?
If I hit. So, my first attack. Un momento, por favor. Apparently, I don't have my weapon set, so with advantage. 11. So,
Unfortunately, no.
All right, second attack. Do I lose my Searing Smite if I don't hit?
I'll let you keep it.
Then the next time you hit a creature, okay. During the spell's duration. All right, so I got to hit it this time. My rapier slides off the steel, and I kind of grit my teeth. I narrow my eyes. And I
looking for the chinks in the armor.
Go again. 21 to hit.
That hits, and you're behind it.
All right, so there's my rapier. Here is the Searing Smite. And then I will use a level 2 slot to do regular smite on it as well.
Oh, snap, okay. Just let me know what the damage is.
Yep. Gotta get my paladin information here. 2d6 radiant, and then 1d6. That's going to be 3d6 more. So, numbers and math hurt my head now. 23.
Okay. This looking real roughed up. It's having a hard time even getting its arms to move to its command. There's oil and spritzing magic on the fritz in certain spots. The body is laboring. Actually, Edmund, since you're right there at its back, and will you and Ryanthal please make a perception check for me?
7.
Unfortunately, Edmund, you don't hear anything, but Ryanthal, you do. And I'm going to send it to you. And that's what you hear.
That's fucking dark. All right. Well, since I'm a giant ape, I don't think I can communicate that to the rest of the group.
Mm-hmm.
Just start signing to us.
Come on, Coco.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Once we wrap this up, I'll let everyone know. So for the audience,
you
at least.
can't say it now. So, but we're on to Keenan now.
All right, we're just gonna swing with the spiritual weapon again. Get that rolling.
All right.
Well, that's a little bit better.
That's a lot better. Good lord. Yeah, double those dice for me, and
That'll.
That's a crit.
It
29.
sure is. Nat
I am
20.
holding out for your nat 1 rolls on damage.
Well, it's already rolled there.
It's already rolled.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 16.
So
16.
tell me how you defeat this Galashank?
Hey.
Well, as the original plan, I would like to see my spiritual weapon cleave it basically in two, top to bottom.
As this thing starts struggling to go forward and get this giant ape out of its way, fight off the paladin that's next to it, deal with the rogue that keeps coming and going and causing it to bleed more and more, it doesn't see your weapon but feels the final release of death for just a split second before choking as the two body parts fall left and right, its vision going dark. One eye on the regent to the right, another gazing into stone and wood as your weapon splits it down the middle.
That'll do.
And we are out of combat.
I look to the Viceroy and clear my throat. It looks like this year's battle is going to be recalled. And I walk over to one that got injured, and then I'll put 30 healing into him or her.
Oh. The warm glow of healing fills them. You hear him like take a deep breath and no longer clutching at their and like reaches up and grabs your shoulder. Is Doru okay?
I look confused and I look at the other two.
They're looking at the cleaved body of the Galashank. And they're not approaching it, but they're looking at it. As the Viceroy is tending to his daughter, even though you've spoken to him, and he heard you, he's making sure his daughter's safely gotten out of the room, so he's at the back of the dais right now. Yeah, that happens on your turn. Who else is doing what?
Shelton's just kind of like standing there. He kind of puts his rapier back inside his cloak and just stands there watching.
Okay, yeah, so you're kind of towards the back of the dice as well, but you're more on the left side now, where the other representatives were, and you just kind of hear Ryan go, "Well, that was easy for me," and puts their sword away. Noir breathes a sigh of relief. Rakesh is gone. The Zalaran servant removed him, but you're on that side, so that's why I'm relaying this to you, because you can see all that. I think the next is either Keeneth or Ryanthal.
I step up to the downed model and look closely at the two halves. What do I see?
So what you see within this metal carapace was are you touching it or are you just looking at it?
Well, I am right there.
Yeah, I mean, like, are you getting down and, like, touching the body and moving it around, or are you just, like, inspecting it, looking back and forth? Because you split down the middle, so you see, like, the brains and half a skull and all the innards spilling out from each half.
Point being is that it's organic in nature.
Yes, this part, yeah. So, yes. So this was, from what you can discern, this was a half-orc male. You can see the tusks on each side of the pieces, the helmet that sits over the top of its face, the eyes, devoid of life, obviously. The carapace itself was machine, but you see that the tubes were tied to needles that actually shot magic into the body to allow it to cast this sort of magic. Hydraulics. Yeah.
I was going to say, so it was clearly alive.
This was a humanoid, yes.
Prior.
Piloting.
I turn to the Viceroy and I say, "Did you put a living creature inside of this and allowed it to overtake that creature?"
The Viceroy, who's at the back of the room, just ushering his daughter out with the servants and closing the door, turns and he goes, "Excuse me? You think I would put one of my men in danger of a machine I did not trust to overtake it, or not to, that would overtake it. He looks extremely enraged and offended and still like in shock of the situation. That machine that he is wearing does not have the capability of overtaking anything. It is a tool. And he's going to walk down to it real roughly, and he's going to look down, take a moment to gather himself, because it is a very grisly scene. We're going to see what he finds here with the roll real quick. Okay, so this is something, what he does is he looks inside the carapace and he goes, he's trying to find something. He's trying to see what could have gone wrong, because even though there are tubes that connect to the magic that like pumps the magic to propel attacks, there shouldn't be, even when you were looking at it, like there shouldn't be anything else that could do that to him.
I kneel right down next to him and say, I meant no offense. Something happened. If it wasn't your man, then it had to be the machine. If it wasn't the machine, then it had to be your man. What happened was drastic and grisly and put many lives at danger. How can the question wasn't pointed as a disgrace? Instead, inquisition. How does this happen? Who can make this happen? Because if it's what I think, then they're in this room.
Viceroy looks you in the eye. The previous ire he had dissipates, and it's one of almost horror. And then he goes, help me remove it from him. We need to look at something.
I immediately do what I can and try and, like, anything I can do to, you know what? I instantly guidance him.
Okay. So he goes to, you hear him say something in Dwarvish under his breath, but like really muttering very quietly as he has to unfortunately scoop part of the head out from the carapace, the mass that it was in.
I use mage hand to try and hide as much as I can as well.
And he nods. He kind of nods to you out of the side of his eye, and he lifts it up. And what was not noticeable because of all the blood and gore before lifting it up, you see something's been infused to this half-orc's head on the clean side that isn't all brain and gray matter.
If I see it prior to him, I point it out.
You do. As soon as you point out, and he goes, what in devil?
Viceroy,
and
I say this as quietly as I can, Viceroy. In fact, I think I have, if memory serves, I'll just say it quietly in my breath. Viceroy, we need to hide this. I don't know what the thought here is, but I'm pretty certain you want to keep this as quiet as possible.
He nods to you immediately. Right. Yes. He immediately takes his cloak off and covers the body.
As I'm doing the exact same thing on the other. Yeah, I'm helping. Mm-hmm. I was thinking the same exact thing.
Yeah, and as that's happening, the other guests are coming up now, and immediately goes, all of you, return to your rooms. And he turns to the four of you, like, except you four, you stay right here. So everyone is to be dismissed. No one is to leave the Zolern Keep until further notice. You will be escorted back. We will collect you come the morning. Your meals will be brought to your rooms. And Orion goes, I think not. You expect me to be a prisoner of your keep? What is that going to look like when the Neo Kingdom finds out that, albeit a very grisly circumstance, you forced us, confined us to a place we don't want to be? I dare say that could be considered a declaration of war, Viceroy. And we know how much you're trying to avoid that.
Real quick, while they're doing that, I just want to slip out the giant hole that thing created.
The giant hole?
Yeah, just slip away. Isn't there like an opening?
There is okay, so the doors are all closed currently. They're going to be open. People are going to shuffle out soon. There are entryways down in the pit. One is where the one that's open is the side that the Galashing Mile came through. So you could theoretically slip down the side into the arena area and go through that door.
And there's like no other ways out.
Not at the moment. Everything else is closed. There's Zolan servants by the doors. There's no other holes. He smashed the floor earlier, but he didn't go through it.
When you smash the floor, is there a hole into the next level, or?
If there was a hole to the next level, there'd be lava flooding the arena.
Oh, okay.
So no.
Okay, never mind.
Okay. Ryanthal, what you doing? As there's this debates going back and forth, Orion's getting a little heated, like throwing the threat of war around, and you're like right there as Kenneth and the Viceroy are talking, covering the body. You can't overhear the quietness of their conversation, but you are very privy to the grisly nature.
I think so. I'm going to dismiss polymorph and go back to my normal self, and then kind of look around and say, "Boy, you guys really put on quite the show. I never would have expected you'd have 3 doubles dressing up as the Regent 3 to put on such an amazing stage performance. Well done. I think you've had quite many of us fooled by this." But yeah, here we are. No one's injured, no one's hurt, all quite fine, except for, of course, these poor doubles. No one would actually send royalty out to see a tech demo such as this. Really quite the great show.
The Regent 3 who's been talking to... sorry, not the Regent 3. The Regent 3 who did get hustled out do not hear this.
Perfect.
But the Viceroy does hear you.
Yeah, thinking of just like, maybe if we can make it look like this was competence and not sheer incompetence, maybe that would ease some tensions a little bit.
Yep, I'm looking to see if he's got a high enough insight there to gather that information. Hang on. Okay, good. I made him smart. Thank God.
Thank
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so he sees like
Plot armor.
he goes plot armor.
Yeah, I look, of course, to the fellows here who are obviously in actual combat, and just talk up to the group and as well, and kind of make a show of, yeah, this was an interesting performance for sure.
And goes, the Viceroy, catching what you're putting down there, nods and goes, yes, we figured an unorthodox demonstration would be appropriate. And I'm just going to see who believes this. Hang on. Ryan automatically does not believe it. Orion automatically does not believe this. And just kind of gives you a certain cocked eyebrow, like, really? You're going to try and play that? The Noir Snow, who is quite shaken up, she only caught a glimpse of the body when it got split, goes, well, that is quite alarming for a demonstration of what's supposed to protect the realms if the bearer dies. I cannot believe the Regency would allow such a thing. And then, as she's saying that, there is a Zolan servant coming up to her to guide her back to her room. She's very much in shock. But at least one person in the room believes what you've said.
How about Rakesh?
Rakesh has left. He left a while ago. He got ferried out pretty early on.
Oh, excellent. Okay, cool.
So,
He was really the one I was worried about.
He's out of the room. He's made his own decisions probably at this point. All right.
Shelton says, not a very powerful machine if it got taken out that quickly.
The Viceroy, holding his composure as best he can, goes, it would seem so. And then all of a sudden shouts to the servant that is closest to him and says, I thought I said to get the others out. And they hustle to get Orion out, who is still trying to argue and fight this, but at some point realizes that this is not the time or place, and they're going to try and get their way later. And the room is cleared out except for 2 servants. Ploop Throop, the butler, who's been quite honestly on the verge of passing out from sheer terror in the back corner, and finally comes up to take his place next to the Viceroy, and then it's all you with the body. The Viceroy turns to Kenneth first, as he is privy to the situation, and goes, this was Duro, captain of my guard. We tested this for weeks, and he's turning to all of you. This was tested for weeks in advance. Nothing like this has happened it is foul play. And he goes to remove his cloak that is seeped with blood now from one of the sides that has been split, lifts the head, and in the side of the face that you can still see, along the brow, you see what could be considered a very thin gem encrusted like tiara of wires has been welded and seared into their skin, like going inside the head. It looks fused to the skin. That was not there 20 minutes ago, or 20 minutes before this started.
Who would have knowledge enough to do this?
Who would have time enough to do this?
Opportunity as well. Good call.
As soon as you say time and opportunity, his eyes immediately snap to the archway down in the pit where Duru, the captain, had come from, and immediately shouts to, like, motions to one of the servants with a snap of his fingers to go down there and look. And the Zalaran servant easily clears the 15-foot jump, lands feline grace, and rushes over to the archway and goes in. He was alone for those 20 minutes. I'm gonna have to review all the security footage. We're gonna need to retrace his steps, where he was there during the day. He was in the keep he's just going, he's kind of going into shock a little bit now, as he's staring down at the head he's still half holding in his hands, like trying to keep it together. And you hear a scream from that archway, a blood-curdling scream of terror.
I jump down and I sprint towards it. I pull my rapier again as I go.
The servant is backing out of the doorway, hands to the mask, like they're covering their mouth. And as you go into the dimly lit, like, waiting room, think almost like a locker area where people who are going to come out into the arena would ready their weapons, put on their gear, etc. You see on the wall, painted in red, a message scrawled quickly and hastily. Crowned Master, your name is unknown, but underground, your deeds are immortal.
I relay that to everyone. I yell back.
One of the Zalaran servants helps the Viceroy get down.
Can
Yeah?
you just put that in the chat, please, just so we have
I
it.
sure can.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this paint is fresh. It is still bleeding down the wall. Yes, Johnny, I did say security footage earlier. There was a reason I said security footage earlier. That was not a slip. But you see that on the wall. The Viceroy comes down, and with the assistance of the other servant, walks quickly to where you are, Edmund, curses something in Dwarvish, very definitely an expletive, and goes, "They're back. Thought we got rid of the underground last time." And he's muttering this under his breath, but you can hear this part, Edmund. This part's not in Dwarvish.
All right. I look over to him and clear my throat. Go on.
Later.
Mm.
For now, you're all going to return to your rooms. I need to get my people together and figure out what just happened.
There is no later. You'll be telling us now. I put my rapier away and I rest my hand lazily against the hilt of the rapier, and I look at him, just waiting calmly for an answer.
He's looking at you and goes, "Excuse me?"
No, you heard me clearly. Please go on.
And at this, Ryan's going to jump in and say, yes, this is the religious types. You will help. We will help you. You will help us help you, regardless of what you want. You have no free will in the matter of refusing our assistance. Sir, if these people choose to simply go about their business, what concern is it to us?
He's looking at you all for a moment and goes, "Perhaps you could."
Oh, this is directed to Edmund.
Oh, my bad. Continue.
I glance over to Ryanthal out of the corner of my eyes and smirk a bit before I turn my attention back to the Viceroy.
And then I look to the Viceroy and I say, Listen, Viceroy, I will be in my room as you've requested. Should you require any assistance or want my help, I am more than willing to lend it in any way I can. Certainly, I've dabbled in a great many magical artifacts and runes and such. I would love to take a look at that. Yeah, any objects that maybe you could use some magical arcane assistance with. Otherwise, I will be in my room whenever you choose to ask for my help. And then I'll kind of look at Edmund and I'll give a little wink. And then I will head to my room.
As you start to walk away, he goes, wait, and just scrubs his face, looking much older than he probably should in that moment. We've had issues with civil unrest, and as a result, the underground seems to have become involved. This is likely a message from them, as they've sent several in the past, especially around the times of conventions. I do not know why they target the crowned one, which is clearly the Clockwork Master. All he's done is good for this city. But whoever they are attacked... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But for them to attack one of our guard like this, I'll burn them out of this city.
It's not so much the fact that they've attacked one of your guards or used your guard against you. It's the matter of efficiency that they've done it in. As you stated, less than 20 minutes had gone by since you had spoken with him before, or at least last seen him.
And I'm quite certain that if not for us here, that the Region 3 would be rather all indisposed.
Shelton kind of just wants to like sneak up on them and just kind of like pop up behind them and be like, so what are y'all talking about?
Make a stealth check real quick for me, just to see if the viceroy notices you.
All right. That is a 16.
He jumps a little bit, and sidesteps, clears his throat.
Hey.
We have watchers that monitor the hallways, the coming and going of the keep. We first need to review them to see what they've picked up. The only people that are allowed this deep into the keep are anyone with a medallion. He points to your guys's, the ones on your neck, or one of these, and he points to a ring on his finger, which, Shelton, you recognize.
What do I recognize it? Is it like the same one I have?
Yes, looks exactly the same as the one you have. And he goes, without these, no one can come and go from the keep. So I need to review the footage. I need to talk with the staff. I need to have my Zollern servants gather the staff.
Shelton wants to go and up to him and go, I think you need a blessing. You've been through a lot, and I think I could help you. Just lower some anxiety.
He looks to you and goes, I suppose.
Well, I am the Archmedulus. I do have some stuff that I could help you with. And he says, can you hold out both your hands, please?
He looks to Ryanthal and Edmund like, is this safe? Because he just saw Shelton or Big Archmedulus just stab very well. So
Ryanthal looks to Sheldon and then looks to the Viceroy and just nods, just like, yes, it's fine.
I shrug and shake my head. I don't even know who this man is. He's your guest.
And he's quite skilled with a blade. Impressive, by the way, and he holds out both hands.
Oh, thank you. Shelton's kind of looking at both hands, and which hand is the ring that I recognize on?
It's on his left hand. It's on the index finger.
It's on his left hand? Okay, so he's like, he kind of, Shelton rubs his hands together like a little bit, and then he starts rubbing the Viceroy's hands, and then Shelton goes, all right, now follow my hand. He starts snapping on the opposite side of the Viceroy's head to get him to turn his head a little bit away from his left hand. And then Shelton's gonna do a stealth check while he kind of squeezes the opposite hand to try and get the ring off without him noticing. So kind of like a old pickpocketer's trick.
All right, make a sleight of hand check.
It is a 22.
All right, we're gonna see if he caught that. One moment. You go to try to take that ring. You all of a sudden just feel his hand close around your wrist and go, sorry, old war habit. As he puts his other hand into your hand to take the ring back and slips it pointedly back onto his index finger.
Did I take it off?
You got it off, but he caught you. At the last second, you felt the last little bit tug, and that's why he grabbed you.
So it was the ring all the way off his finger, though.
It was all the way off his finger.
Okay. He's like, see, you are smarter than I thought. Just checking to make sure you're not gullible. And he just lets it go.
Yeah, he slides that back on, and then, yeah. So he goes, I should probably send someone out to talk to the garrison or go to his home. He was there last before this. Check the places he frequents. Unless you, and he turns to kind of pointedly at Edmund first, and then the rest of you goes, if you want to do some of those tasks, or if you want to assist with questioning the servants. I'm sure Orion would jump at the bit to do that last part, though.
I'd like to examine this waiting area that he was in prior to this incident, see if there's anything that was overlooked. Or I don't even believe you began investigating yet.
I haven't actually had a chance to command anyone to.
I looked at Kenneth and the others. I'm like, I think we can start here.
You'll see Kenneth is already copying the message into his book and examining the exact wall you're talking about.
Have you really given us the full information that you have on this underground? You've mentioned them, but I don't seem to know anything about them.
I'm looking over my shoulder at him as well.
He goes, all I know about them is they don't agree with our practices when it comes to the refugees earning their keep if they wish to have protected travel out of Diredon. Everyone works for their share. They don't approve of the method. So therefore, they have tried to sabotage our mining operations. They've tried to stop the refineries. They've attempted to steal and dismantle and blow up our soldier clockworks. They've attacked my Zollern servants. Generally, they are the worst kind of nuisance that I can't seem to get rid of. And I thought I did 10 years ago. And he looks at one of the servants, and that servant is very ramrod straight, doesn't even look in his direction, but you can tell they're a little nervous just from the air around them.
Did Ryan go back to his room?
No, he stopped him before he did.
So are they originals of the city that don't want refugees coming here? And that is their issue? They're xenophobic?
No, it's... From how I understand it, the Underground is a continental network, at least as far as sources tell us. The first time we ever heard of them was when the city was still young. We barely had the keep half constructed when there was an attack in Bluemore. We believe the Underground were responsible, and 4 mercenaries were the cause of the explosion. Then we heard of some other episodes in other laboring cities ever since. Then, over time, we've been seeing their mark around the city more often. We've been seeing more acts of violence when it comes to the working districts of the mines. I do not know if they are native. I do not know if they are refugees. At this point, I don't know if they are a cockroach. All I know is that they continue to cause harm to the city, and as a result, it is harming the citizens and creating civil unrest. Because now I have to hold off on the exodus, so those who have paid their way cannot even leave the city until this is resolved.
And seeing as you seem to have no disrespect intended, a mask fetish, and everyone here has their identity concealed, you could be harboring any number of members of the Underground.
I am very aware of who in every one of these people are.
Dalton kind of coughs.
He looks
I believe
under my care.
that you believe that you know who each and every one of them is. However, they're all masked. They're all covered from head to toe.
For you.
I raise my brow like, well, then clearly you are far more skilled in knowing your employees than I am.
I'm glad you recognize this.
Why do we care? We were invited here, supposedly to watch this partake, and shit hit the fan here. Why are we here investigating this?
Well,
This isn't our city.
Well, this isn't your city
Is it your city?
for the time being, and for the foreseeable future.
Mm,
Whether it's my city or not, this is still a city that needs assistance. As a member
do
of
they
the
not have
Church
their
of...
own guards?
Doesn't every city need assistance? I mean, from what it
mean-
sounds like, this underground is a widespread terrorist movement across the entire continent.
Which means that it's all of our problems.
And until this is resolved, no one leaves Diarden. No one even in the Exodus is allowed to leave. The convention is delayed now by
that a
I don't know
challenge?
how many days. If I have to detain you, yes, it is a challenge. And he's looking very pointed
surprised.
as you like, please try me right now.
Well, I just want to know how you got that ring. And he pulls out the same one that he has, because I have one looking just like it.
Where did you get that?
No. You first.
No, where did you get that?
He takes it and he flicks it across the arena.
One of the Zolan servants disappears, teleports, catches it, brings it back. And he
It seems
looks
to
at
me as though we are invited here, and now we're prisoners.
He's gonna insight check real quick.
Seems
Sheldon, if you would like, you may make a deception check.
sure. Ain't gonna be very good, but oh, it's a 19.
He looks at you, and just for a moment, his eyes narrow at you, and goes, "Huh? You know, the Archmedulus did disappear for about 6 hours 3 days ago, unaccounted for, without his medallion. It's strange how we found you in the pipe system over in the Dolo district, stumbling about."
Awfully strange indeed.
Right. I think you and I will have more conversations later, but I don't think you're the one who caused this.
So are you gonna answer the question, or are you just gonna leave 3 other people, including myself, wondering, about our matching rings and the fact that everything seems to be going to shit inside your city that you invited us to? I mean, I feel like if you want our help, why would we help you when you're kind of not really giving us the full story and we kind of are sitting here prying everything out of you?
The rings are made for the Zolan Keep employees and the ruling class. The reason the Regent 3 are masked is because one of them is the Clockwork Master. If anyone were to discover his or her identity, there is a strong chance they would be taken from us. We, as you've noticed, likely, do not have manpower to stop most of these nations from invading Diarden. The only thing we have is our immense network of tunnels to protect us. The lava flows, which God knows if they want to cooperate when we turn on the valves. That is why everyone is wearing a mask. The Zolan servants wear a mask because they have been killed for less in the street for even considered working here. They are considered privileged compared to other refugees, and that tends to generate a lot of spite. Or they are trying to escape abusive relationships, or they have escaped their slaver who has come under the guise of a refugee. So that is why everyone here is masked. These rings are special because they provide special privileges in getting into certain sections of the keep.
I rolled an insight check for a 6 to see if he's telling the truth on this stuff.
You're pretty certain he's being truthful.
Okay. Shelton goes, he kind of like pats him on the shoulder and goes, "See? Now we can all get along."
He dusts his shoulder off. He's pretty perturbed, but goes, right. So, shall I leave you two inspecting this room? I will leave one of the servants nearby so you can come find me if you wish. I need to go check the footage from our crystal balls and looking mirrors to see what the watchers have seen, unless one of you wishes to come with me on that matter.
I think Ryanthal looks over to the others and says, "Yes, I think this scene here is all a bit rather gruesome. I think I will perhaps join you, and I would love to see how your footage network seems to work. Why is it called a footage network? That is an interesting word. But anyway, yes, I would like to accompany you. I think this scene is a bit much for me."
He nods, looks to the rest of you as he says something to one of the servants about going to go take care of the body.
I nod to Ryanthal.
What are the chances I can get that ring back?
And he puts it in an inner cloak pocket.
Well, that's just rude.
Keeneth, are you doing anything in this moment? Or are you still copying down the stuff on the wall? Or
I am long done copying, since simply just trying to read the conversation
okay,
as well as what I've messaged you about.
got it. I believe I responded.
You did.
He responded to you as well. Okay.
And so I will be following up on that, if you understand what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do. Perfect. All right. So the
Do I see?
Mhm.
I assume that what was her name? The one that dropped the note,
Sandra.
Sandra. Is she still around?
She is up on the dais, currently trying to, she just got the message somehow from across the room that she needs to start trying to help move the body. So she's up there right now trying to cover it in spare cloaks that she's grabbed from another room, like towels, blankets, and stuff like that. Just whatever she can use, the tablecloths, just to wrap the body as much as she can as they pry and peel it out of the carapace.
I'm going to, while this is happening, nonchalantly, if I can, try and walk to her while they're talking about all of this. This is a few words on a wall, easily done. While I walk up to her, I'm going to copy the note that I found into my book as well, and then tuck that away, and then I'm going to approach her.
Okay. To get up on the wall, since you're down in the area, there is like a small stairway, so you climb up, go that way, and she sees you at the corner of her eye and goes, she looks at you slightly, but continues working, goes, "I'll be with you in a moment, sir, if you require something, or I can have one of the other servants assist."
While she's talking about this, oh yeah, you know what? I will let her. Yes, that's fine. I nod, acknowledge, and just hold my distance at the balcony or what have you.
Okay, and then you see the viceroy's walking up the steps behind you. He's talking to his servant. They rush out ahead of him, probably trying to find more, get more bodies on this, get this room locked down, get the keep locked down, and start relaying the unfortunate news of a citywide lockdown.
Ooh, that was a close one.
We'll come back to you in just a second, Shelton. So Keeneth, go ahead. Now that she's wrapped the body as best as she can with what supply she has. She looks up at you.
I walk up to her and I extend my hand with the note in it so that she can partially see it there. And I'd say, I simply, like I said, I offer my hand and say, thank you for everything you're doing to help contain this. And as I hand her the note, does she take it?
What she does is she reaches out with her thickly gloved hands, overlaying cloak, and gently grasps your hand in both, bows her head, and goes, From the deepest part of my heart, I apologize. You have to understand, the Viceroy is a good man. Da, 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 da. And she's kind of like trying to say, like, this is not how he's supposed to go. We can't believe that what happened is to Daru, as she takes the note from you and puts her sleeves together and slides them so that they're kind of covering the front of her, but she slips it in there somewhere.
I make sure as to not make direct eye contact with her. I tilt my head towards the floor, but raise my eyebrow and look directly at her and say, if there is anything that I can help you with, a way that I might assist.
She looks to you for just a moment and looks to the door like she's heard something and goes, well, I may need to send someone else to bring additional blankets for the warm nights tonight, or I believe there's something about the underground in the library that my master would see reviewed. If you have time or wish for me to bring the blankets first.
Which would you have me do?
The library offers a respite for one's thoughts.
Then the library
Or
it
they
shall
cry.
be.
They don't nod. What instead they do is they look back down at the body, and another servant within a few moments comes up. They both scoop up as carefully as they can, one part at a time, and take them out those doors behind the dais.
As they do that, I collect my cloak back as well. Bloodied and nasty, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay, back to Shelton.
So he left, correct?
The Viceroy has left officially. Most of the servants are gone now. There's one still there in case someone needs something, but otherwise you have this whole great hall to yourselves.
Who's with me?
Edmund and Ryanthal. Enith is up on the dais.
So Shelton was kind of like puffing his chest earlier, and like as soon as the Viceroy leaves, he goes, whew! Well, that was close, huh?
Actually, wasn't Ryan going to leave with the Viceroy?
I am sorry, yes. So Ryanthal did leave with the Viceroy to go check out the footage, which you've never heard the terminology of before, and I'm excited to explain what that means.
So it's just me and
Edmund.
So he looks at Edmund and he's like, whew! That was a close one, huh?
You could say that. You're quite adept at that blade. Not in respect in the damage that you had done. Like, where did you learn such technique?
You know, it just comes naturally, you know?
I kind of understand what you mean.
Good at poking things with it, you know what I mean? I see it and I poke it.
Well, I'm glad that we're on the same side of you poking things at this point.
Yeah. Well, the ring thing, what do you think about the Viceroy?
I feel that his intentions are probably fair. I feel he's in over his head, and he's quite an impressive mind, considering all things considered what's going on here and the amount of technology he's been able to muster. He's needed in order to have Dire Den expand its influence on the rest of the continent. However, there's giant gaps in his security and in his hubris that will be his downfall.
Giant gaps indeed. I'm not particularly fond of being told to stay in one place.
You do seem kind of fidgety.
You let me know when there's a door you want to get through. And we'll get through it.
That's also a good set of skills to have. I'll keep that in mind.
Indeed.
I offer you my hand for the first time.
He looks at it and he goes, I would like to shake it. However, I have this thing about like touching people sometimes. and I prefer not to. I only do it when I really have to.
Like when you are trying to take a ring off someone's finger?
Correct. Can
I
give
turn
you a
turned
fist
my
bump?
hand into a fist right as
Okay.
you were saying that.
Okay, Shelton kind of just like quickly taps it.
Bony knuckles. Kind of say offhandedly and
And
disregard
this
that
is
thought.
why I don't like people touching me.
To completely disregard that thought.
This is exactly why they make fun of me. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna follow you. I'm a good follower.
That's the world needs good followers.
Where to?
Well, this is where the quote-unquote magic happens. So let's see if we can find any signs of anyone that infiltrated here, or that had gotten to his guard, his man, before this incident.
Sounds good. Lead the way.
Kenneth was with us, correct?
Yeah, I was just gonna
He's
say.
come back down,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So was I close enough to hear him make the comment about people making fun of him, or was that out of character?
How loud was Shelton in that moment?
That was pretty loud.
You definitely heard it.
I look at him, and then I kind of point to my face. I can understand. You'll never hear it from me.
Kind of like, nods his head a little bit.
Edmund, what are you thinking? I've
Well,
copied the note. I've examined the blood. I haven't seen anything.
do we know where that blood came from? Are we just assuming that that blood was from... I motioned back to where the fight happened.
You're also assuming it's blood.
Well, we take a closer look at it.
Yeah, take a closer look at it.
Okay.
Is it blood? Is it paint? Is it oil?
It is dyed oil. Because oil should not be that bright. You're pretty certain it's the type of oil that's been dyed. It's new to you.
I pull out one of my empty vials and take a little bit of it, scraping it from the wall.
You're scraping it from the wall? Okay.
Yes.
You get a little bit.
It was brushed on there, like a paintbrush.
It looks like paintbrush, yeah. Like
Okay.
the strokes would indicate bristles.
Heyo, hold on. Come on. Shit. I'm out of second level spell slots.
Yeah, loser. Just kidding.
Can you use
I'm
your
going to sleep.
divine?
Wake me up in 8 hours.
Just
Like,
like right there in the crime scene.
I looked to Kenneth. I'm like, you wouldn't happen to have locate object in your spell repertoire for the day, do you?
You know, I could have that in about 8 hours.
We all could do it in 8 hours.
I see where you're going.
Hold on. Un momento, por favor. Does this require attunement? Attunement takes an hour, so I look around. I'm like, neither of you would have a pearl of power on you, would you? Or do you think that the Viceroy may have one laying around?
We both look at Skelton or Shelton lying around.
He does have.
Shelton was absolutely not paying attention to you guys. He has expended the amount of brain power for the day. What were you saying?
You made mention of entering doors. Wondering if maybe we could acquire a pearl of wisdom. Or pearl of power, did you say?
Yes.
Sure. What door do you need opening?
Well, let's try the direct approach first and ask the Viceroy.
Very good.
Out of
Before
nowhere.
he gets too far out of the way. And then out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, you hear this small voice go, I can get one for you.
Assuming that's his daughter. And I look
You
back
don't see
and
anyone.
we would definitely be grateful for it, just temporarily, and I'll be happy to return it.
There's a pause, and then you see Agna materialize out of invisibility. Her wheelchair that you noticed before has not just wheels, but also has legs, 4 of them. It'd be the only way she could have gotten down here without magic. She's under a shawl again, with her cat in her lap, and goes, "We'll need to go to my room. And but what do you need it for? Is it to help Duru?"
We're going to find the bad people that did this, and we will bring them to justice. Time is very important, though.
She nods, kind of looks down at her cat. Her cat unnervingly looks up at her, and they seem to share a moment. And she goes, "Okay, Whiskers, can you go get it for us? And we'll meet you halfway." And the cat just goes poof, disappears. And she goes, "This way, please. My Ebony's gonna get mad if she doesn't see me soon. I kind of disappeared on her, and she's gonna gesture for you all to follow her."
I follow her.
Ryanthal, we cut over to you with the Viceroy as you are coming down the hallway from the arena/Great Hall. Servants are rushing past. One is always with you, walking a few feet behind, but servants are rushing past. There are soldier clockworks flooding into and out of the keep. In the distance, you do hear a blare of alarms go off. You do hear the muddled words of some sort of voice echoing across what you assume is the rest of the city, relaying a message. You hear keywords like lockdown, effective, immediately, exodus, underground, just keywords like that. But they fade in and out as you're walking through the stone keep. And the Viceroy is walking next to you, who is quiet, deep in his thoughts, and just looks worn down in what is truly the worst day possibly of his entire career, if not one of the worst days of his life, is to come to fruition. And he goes, the security footage, as you asked, is essentially, we do it by feet per mile footage, and the watchers can see about a mile out on their own if they're not obstructed. So footage for security is why we've called it that. It's a silly title. We're working on it. But
Well done.
thank you. He doesn't know what to say at this point, so he's just kind of walking and taking you along. You're on the first floor right now. He's actually taking you down a hallway you haven't been down yet. That is to the right. And you're heading back towards the library area. But instead of going to the library, you go down another set of stairs into what appears to be the throne room, like off to the side. And instead of going into the throne room itself, which is a 30-foot corridor, there are benches on either side, almost like a church, if you would, with a throne that looks very dusty and disused. Has not seen anyone sit upon it in who knows how many years. This room is largely untouched. You do actually spot cobwebs here. And as you are walking, he changes direction down a corridor again, and you come into what appears to be a council room. And within here, he goes, just a moment, I would ask that you turn and face the door for security purposes, please. Just for a moment.
Yep, not really thinking too much of it. Ryanthal says, all right, and turns around.
Basically, yeah. There's a moment, and then you hear his footsteps recede away to one of the other side of the room. You hear a click, and then he goes, and then you hear as a wall, the ground of stone on wood kind of reverberates, And when you turn, and he says, all right, for you to turn around again, you see a corridor has opened up, and a very short one, and you just see a giant mirror, not made of glass, but wobbling liquid floating in the center. And he gestures you to come in.
Yeah, Ryanthal, I think, looks up and joins him.
So he goes, we're looking for... He goes, specifically, we're looking for when Duru came into the keep. We're looking where he was in town earlier today, if he was with his men. And the events leading up to this evening. As he starts touching the liquid substance, it seems to shatter without sound, and chunks of it break away and reform into hexagonal pieces and start moving into a geometric pattern to give you a 3D layout of what is being sought after. He's muttering a few words in Dwarvish here and there, some in Elvish. Suddenly you see a 3D picture of the Dolo district, of Duru coming out of his home when the lights for the Jade Knight crystals actually show up or yellow or blue depending on the night. These ones are bluish yellow to indicate early morning as he comes out of his home in the Dolo district. Goes immediately up into the Laves to a shop called Oh My Cog, and is there for about 45 minutes or so. Doesn't come out for a while. You don't see anyone else go in or out. And then he leaves, and Duru is in his guard attire. He's got his breastplate. He's carrying a helmet under his arm. Even this early, you can tell he's a very rigid, stiff, military man. Lived the life probably good 15 years by now. And from there, he goes to a tavern, to one called the Berserker and the Hyena, which is back down in the Dolo district. He's only in there for about 15 minutes. You see him come out with some sort of food that he can hold in one hand and just eating it as he walks. From there, he goes down into the Zolern district towards the very same blacksmith shop that you visited, the Glowing Drugar, where Horum works and owns that shop. He's in there for a while, good 45-ish minutes, and then you see him go to the barracks, train with his men until midday, kind of just going through the motions of a day-to-day event situation. You see him approached by a figure that is, for whatever reason, and even the Viceroy is like, that's strange, it won't enhance. And he's like trying to he's manipulating his hands in a way to try enlarge the picture to get a better look at the face, and he can't. And the figure is wearing just common clothes. It's not a guard, it's not a servant, but they've approached the captain in a very hurried manner and pointing over their shoulder to where the captain nods, calls over his shoulder, and two men join him and they rush off towards back into the Dolo district. And from there, the Watchers lose sight of him as it tries to follow into an alley and does not see him. It tries to peek around the corners, try to regain its path, and does not seem to find him. And the recording speeds through to the next available point of when it sees Duru, and that is when he is wearing his helmet, coming out of the Laves. It doesn't say where he was coming from, just out of the Laves, down into the Dolo district, straight to the Zolern Keep, through the front gates, gestures to one of the other guardsmen that seems to have greeted him, and goes straight in. From there, the cameras switch to Watchers from inside the keep. He turns towards the opposite side of where you all went into. So there was one hallway that led to the Great Hall. Then he went down the opposite way. Goes down there, and for a moment, he tries a door that doesn't open, stands there eerily too long, turns around, and goes back down further into the keep, down into the lower level where you're in now, but instead of turning right when he went into the hallway past the throne room, he turned left to go down into another part of the keep that is not recorded. And then he shows up coming down the hallway into that waiting room, locker room, and starts putting on the gear. And that's where you see him take off his helmet when he's certain no one else is coming in. And you see the fused crown about his head, his eyes wide and unseeing, a little bit of drool coming down his chin as he puts on the carapace of the Galashank model, waits a few minutes and then steps out. The recording then fast forwards to the next body that enters the space. Again, that figure in commoner's clothes that cannot see the face, it is obscured as they begin to paint quickly on the walls. The feed buzzes again, the glass ripples and shakes, and they're gone. And that is what you see. And the Viceroy pounds his fist on the side of the table that you're kind of standing next to, and where it separates you from this giant crystal-like mirror, and goes, "Damn it!" And he's just like muttering himself, "Who could have gotten in? I don't understand." But he's like, and he looks to you for guidance as he's very shaken up in the moment.
Well, I think I look to the Viceroy and say, well, it would seem that there are a couple moments when this could have happened. The most immediate that dawns on me is when your good friend was lured away with 2 other guards that I believe are still unaccounted for. I think the first matter is going to be locating those 2 guards, perhaps do a general muster of all guard forces, all troops, and doing a quick inspection to see if anyone else is walking around with one of those crowns.
He goes, he takes a deep, long sigh and goes, "You're right, that's obvious. That Daru would have seen this immediately, and you're right. We will get all the guards situated. We'll bring them into the keep for inspection. We will check their barracks. We will check any of them that have homes outside of the Zolan keep. And we should have them all round up within 2 hours' time, provided they aren't out dealing with the civilians after the announcement went out. Could be at most 4 hours."
I understand that a lot of the masking is done for security reasons. It may be more expedient to simply have everybody remove their helmets.
You may inspect the guards. I will inspect the servants.
Very well.
And that's where we're going to end it.
Hey.
Thank you so
Very
much. Go ahead.
nice.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for joining us for Chronicle 3, Session 2. Please check out our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, the TikToks, the Spotifys, and the Amazon Music playlists of the world, as we do launch a new episode every Tuesday. Please check out our Patreon if you really like us. We would love it. And if you subscribe, maybe you show up in a game day, maybe you tell us you want to see something that's canon or you want to see a cool monster, we'll put it in. Does anyone have any other words?
Well, and you'll definitely get a shout out depending on what Patreon tier you're on, much like Jay, Galashank, Kaylee, and Farlorn.
Hells yeah.
We appreciate you all very much.
And remember, always. Oh, and James, do you want to do your little shout out?
Yeah, just follow me on Sunnyside James, all handles, primarily on TikTok.
Fantastic. And remember, everyone, dorks are dangerous. Bye.